Hey guys, how are you all doing? This is my Blu-ray update number 3, where I'm going to show you all of the movies that I've watched since my last Blu-ray update. These are not all the movies I've picked up, just the ones I've watched, so I can kind of talk about them a little bit. And I think I have a good variety of movies here. A lot of live action movies, also a lot of Disney movies, and some DC movies. So let's get right into it. I'll just run through each movie quickly, tell you a little bit about it, and a little bit about the plot and what I thought about it. First up, I have Jurassic Park. This was the re-release version. I think this came out back in March or April. I like the slipcover. I got this for $7.99 at Upgrade and Save, and I didn't remember much about it. I think I had seen it before when I was really young, but it's a pretty good movie. I see why it's so well respected and regarded as a classic. I didn't love it in that way. The first half I thought was a little dull and slow, but the second half, where you really get to see the dinosaurs and the suspense really picks up, I liked that part, the second half. But overall, yeah, I don't love this movie as much as a lot of other people do. And to continue with Jurassic Park, I got Jurassic Park, or the Lost World, Jurassic Park 2. Also got this for $7.99 during Upgrade and Save. I actually thought this one was more entertaining than the first one. Not a better movie, but I thought the pacing was a little better, more action, but yeah, still not a great movie. I think a lot of people don't like the ending to this movie. I didn't have much of a problem with it, but yeah, the first one I'd say is a better movie, but I was more entertained by this one. A lot of these movies are going to be Upgrade and Save titles, so well, this one wasn't, but this was $5 about a month ago when Best Buy had their $5 Blu-ray sale. Nacho Libre. I had seen this movie before, and it has some funny parts, pretty silly overall, kind of dumb. A lot of people probably wouldn't like it, but it's just kind of a harmless comedy. Has some funny parts. Other parts are kind of dumb. Not the best comedy, but uh, typical silly Jack Black role. I like a lot of his comedies, and for $5, I didn't mind. I wanted to get this. I could watch this again, from time to time, but just kind of a mediocre comedy with some funny parts. Jack Black plays like a brother. Uh, what do you call it? Like, not a priest, but like a brother in a Mexican mission where they take care of orphan kids, and he has these aspirations and dreams of becoming a luchador or a Mexican wrestler. So it has some funny parts, but not the funniest movie. Next up, Planet of the Apes. I had heard a lot of good things about this. This was an Upgrade and Save pickup. Yeah, I got it for only $5. I really like the slipcover. The movie itself, I was kind of disappointed with it. I was expecting something really different. I'm not sure why. I thought it was an action movie. You can see from the back there's a scene of the bridge exploding, kind of explosion on the bridge, but it's really more of a drama. James Franco plays a scientist in a lab, and he's working on a cure for Alzheimer's, and he ends up having to take care of this monkey from the lab, and he brings it home, and he kind of raises the monkey, and the monkey's like super intelligent and very physically enhanced. But I know they're coming out with the sequel. I'll check it out, but it's not an action movie if you were expecting that like I was. A decent drama, but not one that I would want to revisit all that often. Next up, a horror movie, The Evil Dead. I picked this up at Best Buy during upgrade sale for $5. I'd never seen this before. I'd heard so much about it. The remake just came out, so I was hearing a lot about that. And I guess this is kind of a cult classic, but I really enjoyed it. Not a great movie. There's no story. It really lacks any plot. It's just about these people who go to this cabin, kind of like your typical Friday the 13th or story like that, where a group of young people go take a retreat to a cabin somewhere. But these these kind of evil spirits start to gather and people turn into zombies. But I really like the makeup in this for an old movie. The makeup they did to make the people look like zombies was really good. There's a lot of gore, really cheesy, but just really fun. Definitely one I'd like to have around for Halloween. So good horror film, not the best, but I enjoyed it, and for $5, that's great. And then this is the Evil Dead 2. I thought this was pretty awful compared to the first one. Didn't enjoy this much at all. It's the same kind of story basically, and just a lot slower. I didn't think the gore was as good, or the pacing just felt very kind of I don't know, very dry. Just kind of like they were trying to do the first one again. Really liked the first one a lot more than the second one, and this was also a $5 pickup at Upgrade and Save. Another Upgrade and Save pickup, Jumanji. I had heard a lot about this movie. I kind of remember seeing it when I was young. I'm not sure if I ever did, but I'm glad I picked it up. A fun movie. Again, I don't think I'd say that I love this as much as everyone else does, but a pretty fun movie. It has kind of a nostalgic childhood feel, even though I said not sure if I watched this as a kid, but it's about this board game. Robin Williams, when he's a kid, he plays this game and kind of gets sucked into this board game, and disappears for many years. And then the story picks up again when these kids find the same board game many years later and they start to play it. But it's really fun. A lot of cool effects with a lot of different animals. You can see there's a scene with an elephant. But a fun movie. Good family movie. I liked it. Next up, one of the few movies here on my stack that I really regret buying and didn't like at all. That's the Boondock Saints. Again, an Upgrade and Save pickup. Got this for, I believe it was $5, maybe $7.99. But I had heard so much about this for a few years, and I'd never seen it. During Upgrade and Save, I figured, for under $10, I'll get it and check it out since I've heard so much about it. I don't understand, what's so great about this movie, why everyone loves it. I really didn't like it. It stars William Dafoe and then these two Irishmen. It's basically about these two guys, and they kill criminals. They kill gangbangers, child molesters, these kind of bad people in society. They're vigilantes, basically, and William Dafoe plays a cop who's trying to track down these killers who are apparently taking out all of these criminals in the city. But a pretty bad movie, in my opinion. the audio was bad, and the way these two Irish guys talk, it's pretty hard to understand them. I thought just very dry, and the action scenes were all like reenactments. They were in slow motion. I couldn't get into this at all. Really didn't like it, and even for $5, regret buying it. I have no desire to even see the second one. I'll probably check it out at some point, but I heard that everyone says the second one is a lot worse than this one. That's not good because I really did not like this movie. Next up, my last upgrade and save pickup in this update, Superbad. This was only $5 during upgrade and save, and what an amazing deal. I love this movie. It's very nostalgic for me. I think everyone's seen this. Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, or is it Michael Cena? I don't know. Yeah, I think Michael Cena and Christopher Mintz-Plasse, McLovin. When you think about it, this movie really kicked off all of these guys' careers. They've all been very successful in Hollywood. Maybe they don't make great movies, but they've been very successful. They've been in a lot of movies, and this kind of kickstarted all of that for the three of them. And kind of crazy when you think about it, because I think this is their best movie together, and just a great movie, a great comedy about these kids in high school. These kind of outcasts. They're trying to get girls and go to parties and get drunk, but just a great movie. Really nostalgic for me, as I said. The first time I saw this, it was just like a week before I started high school, so a lot of funny moments. Really enjoy this movie. Superbad for $5. I definitely recommend picking this up during the next upgrade and save. Now we get into the animated movies, and I'll start with my DCU pickups. DCU being DC Comics, DC Universe, animated original movies. And I've been trying to get all of these. I've always really enjoyed animated superhero, TV shows, and never really got into these movies until now. And I want to get them all. I've really enjoyed most of them. So I got Wonder Woman. This is not one of the more popular DCU movies, but it's the story of Wonder Woman, and I really enjoy it. They tell a story of the women who live in the Amazons and on the island, and Diana, she has to go to civilization and have adjust to that world while she's fighting the bad guys, and it was enjoyable. Not bad, also just not that great. It's kind of an okay movie, but I enjoyed it. Most of these were eBay or Amazon pickups. Next up, Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. I really enjoyed this movie. Good action. The story wasn't the best, but still enjoyable. Really takes me back to my childhood watching the Justice League show on TV. But the story here is it's about the Justice League, and there's kind of a parallel universe out there where there's a parallel Justice League, and they're trying to, in this other universe, I can't remember too well, it's been a while since I've seen it, I think they're trying to destroy all these other planets and universes, but good story, really like the action. Good movie. Next up, Superman and Batman Public Enemies. Really enjoyed this one. A great Batman and Superman combo movie. I really hope they take elements from this for the Man of Steel 2 movie. I and this isn't even about Batman and Superman fighting. They're actually working together to, take on the villains in this movie. Really enjoyed it. I thought the action was really good. I think there's something about animated movies where they can capture kind of that comic book action that you just can't get in a live action movie. But I really enjoyed this movie. A great Superman Batman combo movie. And this next one, Batman Superman Apocalypse. This is not a good Batman Superman movie. The title's very misleading. It's actually a Supergirl movie. The whole plot centers around Supergirl and her coming to Earth, and Superman and Batman, they're in conflict over what to do with her because she's very powerful and she can't really control her powers yet, so she can be very dangerous. But pretty slow. Not a whole lot of action. I just thought the story was kind of silly and not very interesting. And definitely, the dynamic between Batman and Superman is not what this movie is about, as I said. So I didn't enjoy this one. If I knew it was, if I knew what this was, I probably would have held off on this one. I don't see myself rewatching this one too many times. And it's pretty expensive too, even used. I think I paid about $16 for this used. It's pretty bad, but not too good of a DCU movie. Next up, Batman Under the Red Hood, another really good Batman movie. This centers around the story of Robin, not the Dick Grayson Robin, but the other one. I can't remember his name. I think it's Tim, but anyway, the younger Robin after Dick Grayson. The Joker kills him. It's right in the opening scene. I'm not giving away anything. You'll see that in the trailer, but it centers around that, and it's a really good movie. And this guy, the Red Hood, the villain, he appears and starts killing people and starts killing criminals, and Batman's trying to figure out who he is. And I really like the story. There's good action in here again, and you even get to see some of Nightwing in here, which I really enjoy because I really appreciate that. I'm not a comic book guy, but I do remember watching Batman the animated series, and I remember seeing Nightwing in that, so really enjoyed seeing him in here. And then the last of my DCU movies, All-Star Superman. The slipcover looks really nice, but the movie is not too good. It's actually pretty awful. Very little action. It's sorry. It's about Superman. Sorry, lost my train of thought. It's basically about Superman and his relationship with Lois Lane, and her dealing with the fact that he's Superman. It's not really about him. Well, he fights Lex Luthor in this, but it's just a really boring, slow movie. Not very action-packed. I didn't enjoy it at all. Pretty bad. I didn't pay much for this one, though. I only paid like $6, I think. Nice to have it in the collection, I guess, but not a good movie. I wouldn't have gotten this one if I knew I wasn't going to like it, but that's all of my DCU movies. On to the rest of my animated movies. Epic, the only non-Disney animated movie and other than the DCU movies in this update, but I did not catch this one in theaters. I didn't really get a good sense of what most people thought about this movie. I heard from some people it's really good, and I just didn't hear too much about this movie, but this is the Target digibook. It's actually pretty thin, which I don't really appreciate. I wish it was as thick as the Disney digibooks, which are always a lot thicker, probably about double this thickness. But there's some artwork on the back. There's some nice artwork in here. But anyway, the movie itself. Also, one more thing about the packaging. I did not like that the discs, they don't have that ring in the middle to hold it in place. It's just this kind of paper sleeve. But anyway, onto the movie. The first 30 minutes of this, I thought it was great. I was really impressed. Really loved it. I thought, this came out earlier this year, so I was thinking about, for the awards, what was going to win Best Animated Movie of 2013. I thought this was definitely going to take it. Yeah, and it was definitely better than The Croods, at least. That's where I thought it was going in the first half. Way better than Planes, and I was thinking about Frozen, the movie coming out in November, the Disney movie, and I thought this was going to be a lot better than that movie. From the first 30 minutes, I loved it. I loved the animation, and I just loved the whole feel of the story in that first 30 minutes. It's about this girl, her father is a scientist, and he kind of lives alone in this cabin out in the woods in the forest, and he's dedicated his whole life to trying to prove the existence of these leaf men, I guess, these really small people who he claims he's seen running through the forest and that are kind of, I guess, part of the ecosystem and all that. And the girl doesn't believe him. She has a bad relationship with her father because he kind of dedicated his whole life to his work and became estranged from his family. But she has to go live with him now. And then they also, bring you into this world of those people. And it has a very kind of Lord of the Rings feel. These leaf men, they fly on like these winged insects, and they have swords, and they're kind of warriors. Like I said, Lord of the Rings kind of feel. But the plot is they have to defend their land because these other people in the forest who are like... they're like dark creatures. They want to, rid the land of any kind of plant life. They want everything to be kind of cold and want to turn the forest to stone. They're trying to take over the land, and these people have to defend it. But after the first 30 minutes, it just got really slow, really uninteresting. There wasn't much action after the first half, and just really slowed down drastically, and by the end of it, I thought it was just a mediocre movie. But after that great beginning, I was pretty disappointed. But overall, just an okay movie. I'd probably give it a B- or C+. Don't expect too much from it. And now on to the Disney movies. A Bug's Life. I had seen this when I was really young, but one of those movies that I really didn't remember too much of it. So watching this for the second time, many, many years later, I did not love it. Obviously good animation. One of the earliest Pixar movies. The story, though, I did not love it too much. I thought they made it a little too simple, a little too, I don't know, just a little too simple. I didn't really connect with the characters, even the main protagonist. I didn't connect with him too much. It's about these bugs, and there are grasshoppers who, they're basically, they've enslaved these bugs, kind of. They have to work, and they have to work, and they're slaves to the grasshoppers, and they have to collect food for them. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by the phone. And yeah, they rebel against. They want to rebel. They don't want to be enslaved anymore. But I can't really connect emotionally with these people.
Just to let you know that we are at the Cerrito.
Next up, Winnie the Pooh. Terrible movie. I don't know how this made it into theaters. It really had no plot at all. Hello? Okay, thank you. I know I'm just I'm doing something right now. But thank you. Okay. Bye. Oh gosh. Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, terrible movie. Really did not enjoy it much.